Top 5 events by Kenia Gonzalez. My first choice was 9/11. 9/11 was one of the most tragic events in history. For one, it killed a lot of people. The reason why it is important is because they thought that Osama bin Laden started this tragedy. 9/11 is shortened for a date that happened on September 11, 2001. On that day, a group of 19 men crashed in 2 airplanes into the Twin Towers and one into the Pentagon outside of Washington, D.C. The men tried to crash a fourth plane into another building, but the passengers fought back and the plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. Those men were born in other countries and were a part of a group called Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a terrorist group. They hurt others and cause damage to help get what they really want. These men who hijacked the planes wanted to kill many people and destroy the United States. They thought that the United States would become weaker and would lose some of its freedom. They thought that they would continue making attacks and eventually becoming extremely more powerful than the United States. Even though the hijackers did hurt the United States, they were wrong about what happened after the attacks. 9/11 will forever be an extremely miserable day to go through. Many people lost their family members. To this day, our army forces have gotten better since that day. This impacted our world because the government and military have had an increase in fighting better. Our military has become a stronger country by having people volunteer and support everyone who experienced this horrible event. The United States and people all around the world came to help at the World Trade Center to support the United States. Now our world has better security to have everyone in this place safe as possible. My second choice was the assassination of Osama bin Laden. The whole story behind the assassination of Osama bin Laden was unbelievable. He was killed in a firefight with American forces, then quickly buried at sea. Many people believe that he was hiding in caves. Bin Laden was tracked down in a custom-built hideout not that far from a Pakistani military academy. Osama was also a terrorist. Bin Laden was shot in the head, is what they say. This event impacted and changed the world a ton. It's such an important event because if President Obama didn't do this, the world would be as bad as it used to be. I personally feel if we didn't kill Osama, our lives would be in danger. Osama was named as one of the top worst and hated terrorists. Osama did such horrible things to the world. Obama said that this was such an important day because it was an achievement being able to kill this terrorist. This event is also important because many people lost their family members on 9/11. Osama was hating on the United States only because we had better power than him. I believe that this mission would be tough because any of the people working their butts off to kill him should feel proud to be in this country. It's important to thank the military and president who devoted their lives to be in this mission. My next event was the American Revolution War. The American Revolution War was when the British colonists in America rebelled against the rule of Great Britain. There were many battles fought and the colonies gained their freedom and became the independent country of the United States. One of the main reasons that the colonists rebelled against Great Britain is that they felt that they were not represented in the British government. The British government was making new laws and taxes on the colonies, but the colonies had no say. They wanted to have some say in the British government if they were going to pay high taxes and have to live by British law. The 13 colonies were Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, New Hampshire, New York, and Rhode Island. The American Revolution War made a huge impact to the world. Without it, the United States of America may not have come into existence. Even though there was about 4,000 people that died, they wouldn't have gained their freedom. The American Revolution War is very important because then we can all know not only who won and lost, but know why they won or lost. The people of the colonies were tired of being kicked around by the British and they decided to stand up. Another reason is because the failures of the Revolutionary War helped Americans realize that the American government should be built on liberty, equality, and civil rights in order to avoid the same mistakes that were committed. My next event was the Civil War. The Civil War was on April 12, 1861 through 1865. The American Civil War was fought between the North and the South Union States. There were more than 620,000 Americans killed or missing. Thousands more were either wounded. Because record keeping was bad, some people think it was even more than that. But regardless, it was the bloodiest, most deadly war that we have ever fought in. The reason why they were fighting was because they thought they wanted to end slavery and protect the United States of America as a union. The Civil War was also known as the War between the States. People from the North were called Yankees and people from the South were called rebels. When the Southern states decided to break away, they made their own country called the Confederate States of America, or the Confederacy. They wrote their own constitution and even had their own president, Jefferson Davis. The Confederacy was made up of 11 southern states that were South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee. The North consisted of 25 states which were located in the North. The North was called the Union to symbolize that they wanted the United States to remain a single country and union. The North was bigger and had more industry than the South. They had a lot more people, resources, and wealth, giving them an advantage in the Civil War. The war was important because for one, it finally resolved what had been the American ideal that a nation stick to the idea that all men are created equal. From its inception could also be one of the very last places on earth with slavery. There had been struggles over the issue from drafting of the Constitution, although others may drape the war in the idea that it was about states' rights. It was about states' rights to legal slavery. The Civil War saw the end of slavery in America. It was a country divided North versus South, and the North won in the end. A lot of Americans lost their lives in the battles fighting for what they believed was right. The Civil War established Abraham Lincoln as one of the important figures in the United States and world history. It also established an American military tradition by moving the South gradually away from a farming place and kept the country together through its toughest time. My next event was the Holocaust. The Holocaust was all about Nazis killing Jews. It is one of the most terrible events in history. It occurred during the World War II when Hitler was the head leader of Germany. 6 million Jews were murdered by the Nazis. This was about as 1 million Jewish children. Millions of other people that Hitler didn't like were killed as well. This included Polish people, Catholics, Serbs, and handicapped people. It is thought that the Nazis murdered as many as 17 million innocent people. They did it because Hitler hated Jewish people and blamed them for Germany losing World War I. He considered Jewish people to be less than human beings. Hitler also believed he was better than the Aryan race. Well, he pretty much was conceited because he hated everyone, thought he was better than anyone. Hitler wanted to use Darwinism. Hitler wrote in his book Mein Kampf that when he became ruler, he would get rid of all Jews. Not many people believe he would really do this, but as soon as he became ruler, he started his work against the Jews. He made laws that said Jews had no rights. He organized attacks on the Jewish homes and other places that included Jews. On November 9, 1938, many Jewish homes were burnt down or vandalized. This night was called the Night of Broken Glass. The Holocaust is probably the top events to be worse because just imagine if you were getting hate for no apparent reason. This event was important because it shows you how wrong and dangerous it is when one person has so much power and control over others. Hitler was so powerful, he got all his countrymen to do those horrible things to people simply because he told them to. It is important to not let anything like that ever happen again. People need to see what racism and discrimination does to people and how much pain people had to go through in the past to be treated in a way that they deserve to be treated. I don't understand why a person would just kill people because of their race.